Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm probably gonna upload this the same day I record it. Today is Thanksgiving, November 27th. It is about 1 a.m. and I have to be at a football game at like 9 a.m. for Thanksgiving football, which no big deal. Like I don't mind waking up early. Um, yeah, so I'm not gonna update on my life or anything right now. I've actually I'm coming into this recording with a solid idea in mind of what I want to talk about. Um, it's been something that's been getting to me more recently as I get into the season of holidays and as I've gone through my 21st birthday and um, just as I think about the future. So, yeah, let's talk about grief. There's there's a lot to it. Um, there's a lot to it. Yeah. For starters, I mean, I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably lost someone or you um, are worried about losing someone in the future. And to the worriers, to the people who are stressing about it, I say don't worry, right? Enjoy the time you have while you have it, because it'll be gone in a flash. It'll be gone real fast, and um, yeah, it's just gonna be one of those things where it's like, man, that's hard. So, yeah, um, pretty much one of the things that first things I'm gonna start on is people like to say, "Oh, time heals all." Oh, like this and that. I'm gonna argue that it's not time that does that. It's God. God heals all, right? I was talking to a friend of mine today about this, actually very recently about this, and she told me like God is, and it was just encouraging me, but it was like God is close to the um, broken-hearted, I believe it is, and He's familiar with grief. Let me pull up exactly what she said. Um, I've got to scroll a little bit. He's near to the broken-hearted and well acquainted with grief. So we're gonna be diving into, just from my experience, how grief works. So it's not a fun thing to go through, right? It's not a fun thing to learn to deal with. And just from my own analogies, everyone has different ones. This is my analogy, and it's that it's like a button, right? It's like a big button in a small box when it first starts. When you first lose someone, or whenever you first lose something, or go through something that makes you grieve, it's like a big button, and it hurts all the time because it's constantly bumping into things. It's constantly being hit by everything you do, everything that you see, and everything you hear is constantly a reminder of who or what you've lost. And as time goes on, that button slowly, not quickly, slowly, gets smaller and smaller until it's just a floating little thing in a big box. and it'll run into something occasionally. Like it will hurt here and there. It will get pressed, but it won't be a constant like somebody poking it, as is the case when it first starts. So with that being said, I'm just gonna talk about real quick what caused it to get brought up in the first place, because that's a little important. Um, there wasn't really anything that triggered these thoughts that caused it to get triggered, but I was just sitting there and I was thinking about the things I'm going to be doing in the future, the future really, right? I was thinking about my wedding whenever I get married, which is not planned yet because I'm not dating anyone. I'm not, yeah. But I was just thinking about that and like, wow, like it's in the future. I'm gonna have kids, hopefully, God willing, in the future. I'm gonna I'm gonna watch my nieces. I'm gonna watch my sisters get married, right? And so I just got to thinking about it, and I, as I was thinking about it, I realized like my oldest brother won't be there for any of that. He's not gonna be there to see any of that. He's not gonna be. He's not gonna be there. And like that really sucks, 'cause it's just one of those things where it's like I really would have liked for him to be. I really would have liked for him to be one of my groomsmen. I really would have liked to have him have met whomever I may end up with in the future. I really would have liked for him to meet my kids when I start having kids. But that won't happen. And now, that makes a lot of feelings be brought up. Um, one of them's anger. Like I'm angry with him for leaving. I'm angry. I mean, I'm angry with him. Um, I'm angry with him because he's gone. Because it's like, man, the way you left, you didn't have to leave that way. You didn't. You could have stayed. You weren't hurting anyone. You were right. And these are things I would say to him if I could. But it's like you weren't hurting anyone with what you were where you were. We were happy to see you improving and getting better. So that's kind of why I'm so angry. Is because with everything surrounding his passing, he was getting better until he left. And when I say left, I don't mean like, oh, he died. I mean like he physically left everyone, and chose to hide so that way he would not be found. Um, so yeah, that's where the anger comes from because it's like, screw you, man. Like, why'd you have to go and do that? You weren't protecting anyone. You weren't being the hero. You were just hurting everyone a lot more. There's an aspect of sadness to it because he's gone. And I'm never gonna see him again. I'm never gonna I'm never gonna hang out with him, get his opinions on things. I'm never gonna talk to him again. And that hurts. That hurts a lot. Because I love that guy. And there is almost nothing I would not give for him to be back in my life. And I say almost nothing because there are things I won't give. I won't give up my relationship with God to see him again. I won't. There's a lot I won't give up, but there's a lot I will give up. And I would give up to see him again, but I'm never going to be able to. At least I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't know what happened to his heart in his final moments. I just know how his life looked before them. So I don't know. All I can deem my knowledge off of is the fruits that I saw when he was alive. There was a lot of good, but there was a lot more bad, a lot more non-Christ-like behavior, and a lot of denying Christ. Now, is that to say that he could not have been saved? No. He may have had a revelation um, right right before he passed. But as far as my sight could see, that did not happen. So, that's some of grief. Acceptance is a thing that takes differently for everyone. Um, for example, with acceptance, when my best friend first passed away and she killed herself, um, for that whole I don't even think it was like a week. It wasn't a week. For that whole first couple of days after waking up, it felt like a really bad dream. Like I should be expecting a text from her. like she hadn't really gone. That's how it felt. But she was. And I never received the text messages that I wanted. I never I never got that phone call I had been waiting on. Um, Instead, she was gone. And it was just a really bad dream that I had to take a couple days to accept. Like, this isn't a dream. This is what's happened. She is gone one way or another, and that's not changing. So, yeah, that's uh that's not the most fun thing in the world. Um, but it was quick. It was quick accepting she's gone. With my oldest brother, it was not. I I couldn't sleep. I and when I did fall asleep, it was for a very little amount of time, and then I would wake up, and it was like reliving it all over again. Remembering the news, remembering what happened. It took me probably a month, maybe more, before I could fully accept the fact that he was gone. Before I could fully accept, like, yeah, no, this happened and it's not changing. Took before I could wake up without it being a shock, like I'd just heard it for the first time. That was how long it took. Probably a month, probably longer. And so, with everything, grief hits differently, right? Like with my best friend, it took me a few days. With my brother, it took me over a month. However, in all that, there were different times for this. Like, my anger with my best friend far outlasted my anger with my brother. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously, like tonight, I still get angry with them from time to time. I'm still mad at them, because arguably a lot of it was in their power and their choices. A lot of it was like, hey, they chose this, they chose to have this happen. But with each of them, it's different. Slightly, but still different. And so that's where the difference comes, because with suicide, it's much tougher for me to forgive someone for leaving, because it's like you had everything that you could need as a resource at your fingertips, and you still chose to take the permanent way out of things instead of talking to somebody, instead of going and talking to some group that would help after you've said that the resources you've had have helped before. Obviously, it's different for other people, right? Like, some people, those resources haven't helped, and some people, they genuinely feel like there's nothing and no one. And yeah, but yeah, I was probably mad at my brother for less than a day, and I was mad at my best friend for well over 2 months. I couldn't partake in communion because of how angry I was with her. So, yeah, anger hits different too. The stages of grief take different times to get through, and it's not a linear process. It's not all one after the other. Like, oh, I was sad, now I'm angry, now I'm bargaining, and now I'm this, and now I've accepted it. No, it's like it takes different stages, right? I was able to accept one person was gone sooner than the other, but I was still mad at her for being gone far longer than I was mad at the other for being gone. And you know, I've been sad about both of them for since I found out. So, what I'm trying to say and tell you is some encouragement in that if you're going through grief, if you're dealing with it, things deal differently for each person, but you're not alone. There are others who've gone through this too. And in fact, I'm going to start calling it back to earlier at the beginning of this video. What I said. God is well acquainted with grief. It it's not something that he doesn't understand. He knows anger, he knows grief, he knows pain. Far better than any of us could. And so for that reason, let me tell you how I focused on God in these, and then let me tell you how I didn't. Because one was good and the other was not. And one was, yeah. So let's just talk about my brother first, since that happened first. What I chose to do first was go to a fellowship thing that was dedicated to teaching men how to be godly men. I went to there. I spent time with other believers who encouraged me in God and in His Word and in His providence and will. I was open about the wound I had suffered as a result of this. And I threw myself into doing things for Him, into His Word, and into Him. I threw myself into Him. And then 6 months, roughly 6 months, it was more like 5, but about 6 months later, when my best friend killed herself, I still went and threw myself into doing things for Him, but I didn't throw myself into the Word this time. I didn't launch myself deeper into Him. I launched myself at what would best help me feel better. What I thought would best help me feel better. And so I made some mistakes. I did some stupid things. And then I learned better. But that's the two sides of this right now, right? Is like, there's two options that you can take. One is that of throwing yourself into God and His Word, throwing yourself into Jesus. The other is the ideal of throwing yourself into the world. And as much as I feel like you would want to hear me say, "Oh, the world helped me feel better," this and that, like, oh, going and being an idiot and trying to forget all of my problems through the use of substances and stuff made me feel better. It didn't. In fact, it made me feel a lot worse because then things got a lot more real afterwards. Throwing myself into God helped me feel better. Putting myself in Him more and more, abiding in Him through a crisis that should have pulled me out of my faith, because that's how bad it hurt me. That made me feel better because I leaned on Him. I leaned into Him. I trusted Him as a child trusts their parent to provide. And now I want to make it clear, my faith was so young and so new at this point. And I had just been hit with one punch after another. So, what I want to get at is, as hard as it is, once we've grown a little bit, once we know what we ought to do and we don't do it, as hard as it is, if you're going through some grief, throw yourself into the Word, throw yourself into God. He's not going to turn you away just because you come to Him crying and angry and hating everything about this life. He's not going to throw you away. He's not going to turn you away. He'll give you more than what you need to sustain you and more than what you need to grow your faith. He'll grow you in Him and He'll teach you in Him. But if you go to the world, it's going to give you far less than anything could ever help. It's going to hurt you. It's going to tell you it's up to you to heal. Time, I will argue, does not heal all wounds, because if it did, grief would not be a constant. If time healed all wounds, we would not grieve years down the line and years before it happens. We would not grieve the idea of the loss of someone, nor would we grieve their loss over a year and a half after they've been gone. We would grieve for a time, for a short time, and we would be fine. And their loss would no longer touch us in a way that causes us pain and a strife and heartache. However, while I can sit here and think on those I've lost and think on how painful it is, it doesn't matter if I am not taking it to God. Because at the end of the day, really it's God who heals us. Time doesn't. Because I can be in pain while trusting God. So, when I trust in God to heal me and to take away my pain, I trust that He will do what is necessary for me to heal. And He won't leave me behind. But when I trust in the world, it's up to me to heal. And that's the difference honestly, between everything. Because if we don't actually think on God, if we don't actually focus on Him, there's no point in any of it. Because if it's all up to me, then yeah, time might heal wounds. But I'll never be satisfied. So, I want to leave you with this. If you're going through something hard, if you're going through something difficult, don't focus on yourself in it. Focus on what God has done for you. Focus on what He has promised. Focus on His Word. Focus on Him. And all will be made known. All will be made whole. He will not let you stay broken. That is not who He is. That is not what He does. He doesn't say, oh, they're broken, let's just cast them aside and ignore them. He meets us where we are. Otherwise, arguably, I wouldn't be saved. None of us would be saved if we weren't met where we were. Because what would be the point? You know? Why would where we are matter if he'll just go and say like, oh yeah, I guess like, if you're hurt then oh well, like I'll just toss you aside. He won't do that. Speak from experience. So yeah, I just want to encourage you that He's got your back, even if it feels like He doesn't. He sees you, He loves you. He's not going to leave you behind, as is the nature of much of the world. So that's my little piece on grief. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. See y'all in the next video. Goodbye.